Fade me in, baby.
Okay. Are we gonna keep this going every
I think
time?
so.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, like my line is always going to stay the same, but whatever you say and how you say it can change.
Mm.
Yeah, because I like
Mm.
to go in with a low and sexy,
Slow,
intimate.
baby.
Fade me in, baby.
I got you, girl.
You got me, boo.
I got you.
Hey, boo boo.
Boo boo.
Hey, boo
Sound like doo doo.
boo.
What's up, guys and gals
Welcome back. Welcome
and
back,
pals?
everybody. Everybody, everywhere.
Mm-hmm. All across the world.
Honestly, like I watched and looked at some of the analytics, and I was like, dang.
Yeah, we got people in Iraq,
Yeah,
India.
yeah. Australia.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Sydney.
Sydney, I want to go to Australia so bad. So
Me too.
whoever's watching us, if you want to give us an invite, we'll come see you.
Yeah. We'll pack some gear down and we can come do this at your place.
Yeah.
You got a black wall?
It doesn't matter the color of your wall.
I'm just saying it helps.
It does. So tonight's topic, I felt like I did really well on the last topic. So we ran through the list of the top 10 reasons marriages fail. And it was somebody's opinion of their top 10 reasons.
Yes.
It was a divorce attorney, so it was interesting to see their perspective because that's what they do for a living. And so it's like, hey, what are the top 10 reasons people come in and like, I'm done.
So are we continuing? Are we doing a continuation or are we moving in a different direction?
I am interested to hear your point of view on the vows.
My point of view on the vows?
Yep.
What do you mean?
Like, so we talk about everyone has a different perspective on the vows, and I feel like people have a different limitation to the vows of marriage.
Limitation?
Yes. I think some people are only willing to go so far and that the vows are a formality in order to get married.
Woo! You're riding on the edge.
Uh-huh. I rub it against a rock.
Okay. You got an itch?
Well, when you got tiny arms.
10 feet, still 10 feet.
It is, but what are you going to do when you can't reach it? You guys will have to tune into the private chat to figure out what that conversation's about.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It is a good one. Yeah. So the marriage vows, like I think that some people
You
don't
actually have to subscribe
yeah,
to get that
to get that chat. Yeah.
information,
So
which is actually really funny.
I had a random thought moment, and a lot of my random thought moments lead to us laughing quite a bit.
Yes. Quite hilarious. And then I get to add to it.
Yeah.
And then it goes on for an hour.
Yeah. And then, I bring it up in podcasts.
And then
like
it goes
this.
on for 3 days.
Yeah.
And then it goes on for a month.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
It happens.
It does.
It's okay though. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay though.
It sucks, but it's okay because it's 10 feet. Like, what if you lived in an unrocky area? What if you lived in the plains? What are you gonna find?
A plain old wiener.
I would hate to find could you imagine getting a splinter?
A splinter?
A splinter, yeah, because like maybe there's trees, but there ain't no rocks. Gotta rub it on something.
Sand. Just rub it raw. Yeah. Again, you're going to have to subscribe. to get the rest of that information.
Yep.
I hope you enjoyed that part.
Mm-hmm. All right. So
The vows.
the vows. Do you remember any portions of the vows?
What do you mean?
Wedding vows.
What do you mean? Do I remember any portions of them?
Do you remember any portions of the traditional wedding vows?
The traditional ones? No.
Okay.
I'm not that type of person.
So you didn't do traditional wedding vows?
Not traditional, no.
Okay. So let's dive off into the traditional ones then. I gotta look them up because it only listed some of them.
Do you not know me?
I do know you, but I'm not going to make any assumptions about
Am I a
what you've
very
done previously.
traditional person? Like, do I go by what other people do? What is your opinion of that?
Ask the question again.
Do I do what other people do?
No, you don't do.
I don't do. Actually, I do.
So much.
If I didn't, we would have
So
a
much.
freaking issue.
So much so that you got no legs.
You would have had to watch last episode to get that information.
Yeah. He got no legs. I don't even. Okay, no. To answer your question, no, I don't see you being a traditional, um, you know.
What if I came to you and said, I want to read traditional wedding vows? What would your response be?
Okay, and I would take them very seriously.
You wouldn't have a response of, I think we're on a different level than that. And I would like to do our own. Or even you would like to do your own.
No, because even to that, even if you decide to do your own, you decide to do your own vows, like maybe you read what would be your vows before you actually say your vows. Maybe you write your own. Like I think that there's a way to make sure that both people's idea in their wedding is met. And so if you came to me and was like, "No, I want to do just traditional," I would say, "Okay, what about if I read what I would like to be our vows or what I would like to be my vows before we actually do the traditional wedding vows?" Like there again, we both care so much about us both feeling accepted that I don't think it would be a problem, but I think for other people it would be. Like
Yeah.
yeah. Because I don't think you would have if I came what if my response was just that, like, yes, I'm totally okay with that. I totally respect that. Would it be a problem if because I still very much want you to know how I feel in my heart the day that we get married.
No, it wouldn't be an issue for me at all.
No.
But I'm not a traditional type of person. And I like to change the trajectory of life
Mhm.
in most aspects of life.
Mhm. Yeah, I do agree with that.
I like to cut off the generational.
Curses and holdbacks.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't even know that I like the word traditional.
Interesting.
There seems like there's so much limitations on that word.
Okay. So the wedding vows are I take or I blank take you blank to be my husband or wife and to have
My name is not blank.
I know I'm not going to say these to you right now
Why not?
because that's a very intimate moment and I choose not to share that with
Anybody but me?
yes.
Okay.
Do you feel differently?
No.
Okay. I blank take you blank to be my husband slash wife, to have and to hold. What do you think that means? To
To
have
have.
you and to hold you.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? What does to have mean in your heart and mind?
To have
Mm-hmm.
is for you to be present.
Yeah, I like that. And to hold.
To hold you. would be for me to be like, I'm going to take care of you no matter what.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that, but from my eyes, the way that I see to hold is like holding you as if like you stay here because I now hold this as my
I understand where you're headed.
yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. To me, to have and to hold is so I'm just gonna screenshot this because my phone's gonna
You
go
should probably dive into the reason why you feel that way as well.
off. I will try. I'll try.
And you don't have to go like too far.
Uh,
Just like,
yeah. I don't too much women are made to feel as if that we are property. And the way of which the marriage ceremony itself is structured is that we are property and that we're given away and then we're being transferred from this man to this man and that this man is going to have and to hold us and they are going to like just like you're making a
a
to
piece of
have and to
property.
hold deposit into the bank. You're going to I have this money, now I'm going to go put it in the bank and the bank is going to hold it until I then need to make a deposit or a withdrawal. Like, I do not like the terms of the vows.
Okay.
So,
That's why I said I'm not a traditional person.
right, you're not in this aspect. Um, Now, to that, the vows of which you and I will exchange and that we will give to each other are going to have terms. Like, there's going, for me, I know I'm going to say, to obey, there's going to be terms in there that are going to be listed in here, but they're not going to be
I don't even
listed
like that. I
in
don't like,
the obey part.
yeah, I don't like that.
Okay. To have and
I'm
to
not
hold.
here to control you.
No, you're not. You're not.
I'm not here to be your watch dog or no. We've
Yeah.
grown up enough in our lives to be at the point that we're at
Yeah.
that you're not going to obey me.
Okay.
I respect you way more than that.
Yeah. And I think
I
that
will not say those words to you. I will tell you that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. I do agree with that. And these ones are everybody's vows are different. Like these are the universal universalist, Unitarian. Like there's different like there's Quaker wedding vows. So like these ones are just like I think these are just generic ones and these don't even have the obey in here. Um
I don't like that word.
I know you don't.
Really don't.
Okay. So to have to hold from this day forward,
I
from
feel like I'm
this,
talking to a dog.
yes. Um, so to have and to hold from this day forward, the hat to have and to hold don't bother me until you add from this day forward.
Okay, explain.
So there again, from this day forward makes it transactional. Now
Okay.
that your father has given you away to be mine, I now have and hold you from this day forward.
I
That
understand that.
that is very transactional to me.
I
And love is
understand that.
not a transaction.
I actually think people think otherwise.
Oh, a lot of people think otherwise.
I was actually told that I couldn't give it back.
Give love back?
No, the person.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's gross.
by the person's father.
Yeah, that's gross.
Like you can't give it back. Once it's yours, it's yours.
That's gross. You're not a thing to no. I think men need to stop thinking like that of their daughters.
I agree.
um, for better or for worse,
Whether it
that
was a
part.
joke or not, it should not have been said.
No, it should not have been said. It should not have been said. Um, from this day forward, for better or for worse. So no matter what,
You can't give it back.
That's exactly what those 2 words mean to me.
Yep.
So that
And that's where that mind process came from,
right,
is you can't give it back.
right. Now I don't like that for better or for worse because for better or for worse means, okay, you can treat me worse and I have to stay. You can treat me better and I have to stay. But most of the time when shit goes south, the worst part is worser.
Yes. The worst is always going to outdo any better.
And I feel like for better or for worse are talking about actions. It's not talking about situations. It's not talking about a loss of a job. It's not talking about a sickness or an illness or anything like that. I feel like it's
Not
talking
yet.
huh?
Not yet.
Yeah. I feel like it's talking about
Sorry, my mic was
it's
off.
okay.
Not yet.
No,
It doesn't get there yet, but it's
no.
fixing to.
It's fixing to, yeah. So I think for better or for worse
What
has
the
to do with
hell? Sorry.
that's
I don't know
okay.
what the heck that was.
I don't either. Um Yeah, so I think that that's what it's talking about when it says for better or worse. It's like better my actions or worse my actions
I
from
can
this
do
day
whatever I want.
forward. Yes, I think that's
No
inappropriate.
matter what I want to do, I can do it. Now I can get away with it. And this guy over here just gave me his permission to do whatever the hell I want.
Mhm.
It's your father. That's the one you're going to go complain to.
Mhm.
That's the one you're going to go seek out
Mhm.
whenever I do these things.
Mhm.
And you know what I'm going to say? You told me I could.
Yeah.
You're the one that gave her to me. Like you're a piece of property.
Mhm. Yeah.
You gave it to me. It belongs to me now.
Mhm.
I get to do what I want. You said it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't like the words either.
Mm-mm.
I'm just interpreting them.
And I love hearing your thought process on it. Uh, it's the infliction of your tone and voice that's making me sink into my seat because I'm already having like the sinking gut feeling.
Yeah,
Nothing that you've done, nothing at all. I wanted to
I
be very,
understand.
very clear about that.
No, I understand.
Um,
Honey,
hmm,
you know I get.
I know, but when I say things like that, it's not mm, just for you as it is for them as
I know.
well, because they are probably going to be able to read my body language, my face, my shoulders, like, is she scared of him? Is she like, there's
Right.
gonna probably be some things or questions that's raised. So when I say
Understand.
stuff like that, it's not just for you. For richer, for poorer, that
Mhm.
part I don't mind. Like you're vowing to
Yeah.
say our love is not based off of
Money.
money.
Right.
That part I don't mind because there again,
Or
love is
it's
not
not money or it's not materialistic.
right. Yeah.
So that does two things for me, not just money. It's money and it's not materialistic. So it doesn't mean that you have to buy me things in order for me to love you or you to love me.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, I was gonna say it's also not status driven. We could be high status, we could be low status. It makes no difference. I'm going to love you.
Yeah. And it shouldn't.
Right. In sickness and in health. And so that's where the for better or for worse and the sickness and the health. That's where I don't like the for better or worse part, but I do appreciate the in sickness and in health.
Yep. Well, and so these are also biblical terms
Mhm.
that are how many years old?
I don't know. I don't know how to put that into a timeline. Thousands?
Probably,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So now I just want to place some context on it because I believe things were a lot different than they are now, which
Yeah.
is why I think these should change
Right. And so
because everything else changes.
I'll read you the interfaith wedding vows that are underneath this that is actually like I could get on board with those.
Yeah.
Um So in sickness and in health, I get it should be that way. And our relationship has been that for both of
Mhm.
us. I mean, you've led me through a pregnancy that legit killed me.
Yes.
And then not only nurtured me back to a point where I could stand on my own 2 feet, but nurtured me while I tried to nurture our child. So and then I was there holding your hand while you went through really invasive surgery. So and then
Mhm.
another long hospital stay. So I do appreciate that part of these vows, and it should be there. And then after it says in sickness and in health, it says to love and to cherish always. Yes, that part I have no problem with. But if you have to put for better or worse, for better for worse, and then oh okay, but I got to throw at the end to love and to cherish always. Well, why do you got to put for better or for worse if there's to love and cherish always? But just because you love someone and you cherish someone does not mean that you're going to treat them with dignity and respect.
Always.
Right. I can cherish you and treat you like shit.
Mhm.
I'm still honoring the vows. I'm cherishing you. That's
Yeah. At the same time, I'm over here going, "No, you're not."
yeah, up for interpretation, is it not?
Seems to be.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I feel like it's important to have this conversation with the person that you're marrying. Can you explain to me what you think these wedding vows mean? We're going to say them to each other. What do they mean to you?
Yeah.
I think it's a fair conversation.
It is a fair conversation.
All right. So this one is the interfaith ones. These ones I could kind of get on board with a little bit more. It's I blank, take you blank to be my husband, wife. I promise to be true to you in good times and in bad. I mean, let's just break that down. To be true to you in good times and in bad.
Yeah, that can be interpreted a lot of different ways too.
Yeah. In sickness and in health. I'm not going to just
You
leave you.
already established that.
Yeah. I will love and honor you all of the days of my life. That's the part I can get on board with. Love and honor, the honor part. You don't treat somebody like shit if you honor them. You can treat somebody like shit that you cherish. But if you truly honor someone, you don't treat them like shit. All the days of my life. I can majority of those vows I
Was
could
that it?
yeah, that was it.
That's the end?
That's the whole thing. So we went through so the first set of vows that I gave you, and then this is like a different set of vows. This is the interfaith ones where it's
Can I
just
ask a question?
sure.
What vows did you give?
Um, I gave the ones that were like the first ones I read. Um, no, it had the obey part in there, and it went a lot deeper, like a lot deeper.
Like what kind of church?
This wasn't a church. This was a wedding chapel in Arlington, and the wedding chapel provided the officiant. Is it what they're called? The officiant? Yeah, the wedding chapel provided it. Yeah. So I never realized
Officiant?
officiant. Is that what they're called?
No, I don't think so.
What are they called? What's the person called that marries you?
Ordained minister?
Yeah, I know, but they're called something else. I'm looking it up.
You know my dad is.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Oh, that's right. He married your sister, right?
My, yeah, my brother. I don't know if he married my sister or not. Next. Did
What is the
he?
person
I
called
feel like he did. I
that
think you're right.
marries you? The marriage officiant. Officiant.
Okay. You're
Officiant.
right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I'm just like, now you had me guessing. Like, I don't know.
You're right.
I'm looking up to see if I can find the vows that we can or
What do you guys think?
we.
What do you guys and gals do? You think it's okay to just say words? Or do you mean the words that you say?
Yeah.
Do you mean the words that you say? Do you believe that words have meaning?
Oh, I absolutely believe words have meaning, and I also believe that words have power, and whether they are spoken or unspoken words. So whether it's like an internal dialogue, those excuse me, those words have power, and then spoken words to anyone in your life have power. So that whole saying of sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me is bullshit
Yeah.
because they're powerful. Yep.
Yeah, words are spoken for a
Okay,
reason.
so we were right. So I looked up on the Google to break down what 7 traditional marriage vows, what they mean and why they're still important. Here we go. So to have and to hold is property rights, legal phrase to define. I was exactly right. I find that disgusting. Sorry.
It is disgusting. Like you are no longer this person's property and now you are this person's property.
Yeah.
Or you are no longer this person's problem and you are this person's problem. Or you are no longer this person's pleasure and you're this person's pleasure.
Yeah. I think
However you want to look at it,
yeah. It says
but you are being given
it says
as a piece of property
It
to somebody
says in
else.
biblical times, so we're talking thousands of years ago, that's what it was referring
That's
to.
what I was getting at
But
earlier.
and it says, but now as part of the traditional marriage vows, this isn't a statement of ownership as it refers to just belonging to each other. There again, you're still a belonging. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not own you.
In addition, to have means to enjoy a sexual relationship. That's not always a given.
Yeah. Whose opinion is that?
Right.
Whose opinion is it that you enjoy what is being inflicted?
Yes. Yep. And the historical meaning of the verb to hold, and that's what it says, to hold, to keep, to tend, to watch over. Thoughts?
I believe as a man,
Mhm.
those are okay words from the man saying the words. Now, I don't know how you feel about it from a woman's perspective, saying those words to a man,
So it
because the
also
words were reciprocated, right?
yes, they go back and forth.
So you've got to say them, I've got to say them.
It breaks it down on this page where it says what it means from the man to say and what the means for the woman to
So
say. So keep going.
for me, if I'm saying those words to you, say them again.
To have and to hold. To keep, tend, and watch over.
Okay. It is my responsibility to make sure that you are safe,
Mhm.
that you are taken care of on every level,
Yes.
including your safety,
And I think
and
that
that you have a safe place to be.
yes, and I think that safety includes also having a mentally safe place, not just a
All things safe,
physically
no,
safe.
all things safety.
Yes. So, and this is where it goes into the female perspective of the to hold for the when the wife is saying the vows to you that I had to have you and to hold you. Basically, it goes into includes protecting them from little things such as angry family members, too much busyness, the big things such as infidelity, pornography, abuse, and addiction.
Why is that the woman's place
Right. Like, I'm
to
supposed to make myself available to you 24/7 in hopes that it prevents you from seeking out.
drugs, alcohol, porn,
Right.
other women?
Infidelity. Like, I don't like that.
That's your place?
That's what these words are saying. That's what biblically, because they reference
It's the woman's place to make sure that that doesn't happen?
include
How is
protecting him
that?
from little things
How are you going to be there if
or
you're not there?
or big things. What do you mean?
How are you going to be there if you're not exactly what I said? How are you gonna be there if you're not there? Like, if I'm out seeking something else out, you're not there.
Right, but
So
it's
how are
my
you
fault because I wasn't doing something. That's why I don't agree
not
with these. I
no, it's
do
not
not agree with these.
it's not your fault.
Right.
It's not always it's a two-way fucking street.
Yeah, I
I'll
know.
get off in this shit.
I know. That's why I was like, this is going to be interesting because you're breaking it down. You're really, truly understand. And this is a conversation people need to fucking have before you say these vows because you're thinking that he's thinking it means one thing and you're thinking she's thinking it means another. But have you done the internet research or even the
I don't even
biblical
need to do the internet
or
research.
even the biblical
If you're gonna say
research?
the words, know what the fuck you're saying.
That's what I'm saying is like, have you done the research?
No, have you done the research on yourself?
Right.
Honestly,
Right.
you don't need to do the research on a phone. You don't need to do the research on the internet. You don't need to research the words. You need to do the research on yourself. Are you willing to do these acts that you're going to spit out of your mouth? And if you're not, then you probably should pick some different fucking words.
Yeah. Agreed. But I'm saying there's a lot of people don't even understand what these vows mean,
No,
and
they
they're
don't.
just assuming.
They say them because they're traditional, and tradition to me is bullshit.
Mm,
Sorry. That probably offends a lot of people.
yeah,
But tradition is an old fucking thing.
yeah.
It's not now. It's not present. It's not that I don't believe in God. It's not that I'm not a church person. It's not that at all. And yes, I do cuss. Doesn't mean that I don't believe in God.
You're a little holy and a little hood.
I got some holy undies and I got some holy
Yes,
pants.
yes, yeah. The one thing you can't stand holy is your socks.
I know that's right.
So then it talks about so then we get past that, right, to having to hold and what the wife is to holding herself to that she's going to protect you from, which if you are going to have infidelity or you're going to seek out the graphy or if you're going to seek out the abuse or the addiction, there's nothing I could do to stop you from that and to put that pressure on the wife. No, that's not okay.
So at what point is it supposed to be brought to you that it's your problem? This is actually a really big question.
Yeah, I could tell.
So at what point do you take it on as your responsibility that this is your issue to address and it is your
I address it.
100%?
Okay, so we're going to have to break down each one of these things because there's too many, like my answer doesn't cover each one. And I don't like saying the full word, so it'll be graphy and I think you'll understand what I'm talking about just because our church is already so good about this
Yes.
topic and conversation. Um
By the way, we do go to church
yes.
and we go to a very, very, very good church, actually.
Yes, we do. Uh
It's probably the best church I've ever been to. I really enjoy it.
do you?
I do.
That's awesome. I've never had a man to go to that would go to church with me so
I
regularly. So
I
I
I
appreciate
really
that.
enjoy the pastors, and I enjoy the service. I enjoy the servants, and I enjoy what they talk about, and I enjoy their accomplishments and their goals moving forward.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. So The question was, and I'm repeating it so that I make sure I understand the question, is do we when do these things become my problem? So the infidelity obviously never becomes my problem. I'm never going to own that it was my fault that you stepped out, because if you believe that you are not being treated correctly by me and you are not getting everything you need from our marriage, that is your responsibility to step out. To correctly, step out correctly.
Yes, not incorrectly. Go ahead and have the conversation of, "Hey, I'm not into this anymore."
Right.
And yeah, we have some kids, but this is just not working, you know? I'm not attracted to you. I need this and this and this, and this isn't working, and I'm just done.
Yes.
And yeah, it seems like probably for everybody watching this that these words are easy for me to say. They're not easy for me to say. They're actually not easy for me to even look at you and say these words because I'm looking at you and saying, "No, they're not for you."
I understand.
But it is always easier to say something than to do something.
Yes.
So I don't want to give misleading context on things either because majority of the time and too much of the time people don't dive into this.
No.
They don't jump into the conversation. They're not willing to jump into the conversation because they're, again, here's the fear factor, right? Of, I don't want to have these talks. This is scary. It's a scary place. And I don't want to say these things because I'm afraid, one, I'm, as the man, I'm afraid that I'm going to hurt her feelings. Two, I'm afraid that she already knows. Three, she already knows. And she's been waiting for me to just say the words so that she can move on. Because there's that, right?
Yeah.
There's just so much that goes into that.
Hmm. But you cannot, as a spouse, whether it's the male or the female, take on that they
You shouldn't have to take on the role. Either way, either side should not have to take on the
no,
role
no,
or responsibility
right,
of this is now my ownership to have to control this part of our marriage.
right. Okay, so let me ask you this question, because I think that we both tried when this happened to us, or that we did this in the past. Did Is there coming back after someone has stepped out?
I think that it happens a lot. I think that people are very forgiving or want to be forgiving,
Yes,
but they're not actually forgiving. I want to really dive into that one on its own.
on its own. Okay, we can dive into that on a different podcast.
No,
Oh,
I'll do it. I don't mind doing it right here.
okay.
Um, what I mean by that is when you have already done something, you've stepped out, you've done it, you're guilty of it. If you have owned it and you have been forgiven for it by the other party, and you have been told by the other party that you, I forgive you, we're going to move forward, we're going to work through this, and whatever the other fucking words are, it doesn't really matter. But if the other party has given you full clearance to move past it and move through it, and then they want to, every time there is a small, a fucking rock, a pebble that you cross over, for an argument
Yeah.
that's thrown back in your face immediately,
Yep.
you were never forgiven for it,
No.
nor will you ever be.
No.
So the very first time past this, that you were forgiven for something that you did wrong, infidelity.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's right for you to go do this
No.
by any means, because
No.
I don't believe
But the
in
conversation
I don't
was, do
believe in
you
this,
think
but I also think
relationships?
that this shit happens because I
Yeah.
know this shit does happen.
Yep. The question just was, do you think relationships can come back? And you're giving.
I am. I'm giving context on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving context on it because I've been here.
Same.
I inflicted it.
I have inflicted and had it inflicted on. Like I've had both experiences.
So to that, I just want to say that it's if you're forgiven for it and you've forgiven someone for it, you don't bring it up again. And
You can't.
if you do bring it up again,
Then you're not ever going to be able to get past it.
and then that is always going to be seen by the other party.
Yeah.
No matter what. And all you have to do is blow up one time.
Yep.
And that one time means that you're going to do it every other fucking time.
Yep.
Every single time.
Yep.
I already know.
Yep.
And it will happen every single time. Every time that person gets
Wasted.
some alcohol in them.
Yep.
Every time that person gets some anger in them.
Yep.
Every time that person
Jealousy.
whatever
Yep.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Whatever it is, it really doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't.
It's going to get thrown in your face.
Right. And I think a lot of it too.
That is a lot of mental abuse.
Oh God, yes.
So I want to go back and visit another term in the vows.
Yeah.
Because to have and to hold.
Yep.
That directly offends that.
Explain.
If you are going to put those vows in place.
Yes.
Those particular vows.
Yeah.
You're going to provide the forgiveness either way. It's reciprocated. You're going to provide safety either way. It's reciprocated, right?
Yeah.
So I'm telling you right now, and I'll tell all of you right now, that marriage is not 100%. It's not always 50-50. And it's work.
Yep.
It's always a work in progress. And there are going to be good times, there's going to be bad times.
And if you stop working on your marriage, you become roommates.
Yeah, and that's not fun.
No.
So I get a little heated on this topic.
I love it though. I love hearing your passion about anything.
I get a little heated on this topic because I lived a lot of shit today, and I put up with it for way too fucking long.
Yeah.
But if you're going to forgive one person for doing something to you, you fully forgive them.
So what happens if somebody comes to you and then it's like, I can't forgive you. I love you.
I need
but
you to
I
say those
can't
words.
Forgive you.
I need those words said to me.
Yeah.
Perfect. Got it. Let's figure out how to get out of this fucking situation so we're not miserable.
Yeah.
Why do you need to be miserable? Why do I need to be miserable?
I almost feel like being forgiven is like.
But it goes further.
Hang on.
Oh my God, it goes so much further than this.
Let me finish my thought. Being forgiven is almost like the easy way out. Because being not forgiven makes you really fucking have to deal with why you did it.
Yeah.
Like All right then.
Well, hopefully everyone's still here.
I think so. Sorry. Yeah, I feel like it's a scapegoat way of being like, what?
I don't know what's up with that.
Oh, I don't either. Like, yeah, it's almost like, oh, I hope they forgive me so that I don't have to deal with why I did what I did. Versus me being honest with you and saying, I can't forgive you, then you're going to have the internal battle of, why did I do that? At least for me.
Well, I'll tell you that I had the internal battle of why did I do that on my own. I beat myself up for it.
Yeah,
And I was young and dumb at the time, anyways.
same.
I'm not saying that it was right by any means,
No,
nor was the situation that I was in okay either.
right.
And the situation was provided.
Right. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So much so that it was, will you take my friend home?
Yeah, I know.
Like, I'm not putting an excuse there, but I was really young and stupid.
Yeah.
And I take full accountability for what happened, what transpired. It is what it is at this point. And I'm an awful liar. I do not lie well. So if you ask me a question that you already know the answer to, I'm going to tell you the truth because my body language is going to tell you if I don't.
Yeah.
And I know that about myself.
Yeah. You and little J have that in common.
Yeah, we do. I hope he recognizes his early.
I hope so too. I was just talking about the body language thing, like shifting.
Yeah, well, I
That's
hope
all.
he recognizes that early.
I hope so too. But yeah, I, I, that's just a hard thing to swallow, to sit with. Damn, they can't forgive me.
So if you were to say no, I don't forgive you, in your eyes, what is the next thing that happens?
Typically at this point, you guys are living together, usually. Um, and so you're living together, and it's time to separate.
You take a break, or do you go back?
Um, I think everyone's different. For me, I think that I would need time to process, right? And then I would constantly be evaluating myself of, well, can I? Should I? Did I do something wrong to deserve this? Maybe if he would have had more sex, or maybe if he like I would have tried to own so much.
You would have. I can see you doing that.
Yeah.
I hate that part of your thought process for yourself.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a trauma response for you.
I could see that. Yeah. And I appreciate the
That
way you worded that because I was
to
thinking.
me, that is a trauma response for you
Mhm. Yeah.
because I know what you've been through.
Yeah.
Not everybody does,
No. Yeah.
but I also know how your mind works as well.
Yes. Explain how my mind works.
Like you're going to do everything to think that it's you before you assume that it's somebody else first. You're going to put yourself in the position to blame yourself
To take accountability.
before you blame anybody else.
Mhm.
That is one thing that I can honestly tell you that I don't agree with.
About my personality traits.
Yeah.
I know. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. Like, it shows my heart and it shows how I always try to think the best of people and how I try to take on way more than I should. And I take a lot of responsibility more than I should for things that are not mine, that I did not cause, that I did not do. And ultimately, it's growth and understanding. But even still, that if that situation were to happen in our relationship, I would still go, well, I wasn't there enough. I wasn't this enough. I wasn't like I to a fault. That's just who I am. And I don't know that that's ever going to change.
Yeah. I hope it does. I think you owe yourself the level of respect that you receive.
I owe myself the level of respect I receive. I don't understand.
We talk about how much we respect each other.
Yes,
So, how much do I respect you?
a lot.
Okay. You owe yourself the same.
Yeah. But I think in that instance, that's very confusing because in that instance, there is no respect.
I agree with that statement. There's no respect in that instance for sure.
Yes.
That's not how I was trying to come across though.
Okay. That's why I was like, I don't understand. Yeah.
I mean, you owe yourself the level of respect that you don't deserve that.
Yeah. So,
Nor should you put that on yourself
so
so
ultimately,
heavy.
and you asked me, so let's play this out because I already know the answer to how this plays out for myself. Ultimately, what happens is for me, I go into the we separate. Obviously, we find different habitat habit habitats habitats. We find different habitats. We live in different places, but ultimately, I put it on myself that. And so then ultimately, I convince myself that I should forgive you because I wasn't enough for you in that instance. And I made a commitment to you and then I didn't live up to that commitment, and that's why you stepped out. So ultimately, I would be forgiving you because I was lacking.
But were you?
Right.
Honestly. But were you?
No, I just picked the wrong person.
Yeah.
I should have exited. Like, yeah, should have exited. Young and dumb. Yep. So no, that's why it's so important to pick a partner that's going to have the hard conversations with you of like, hey, I don't think I can stay.
Yeah, I don't think I can do this.
Yeah. And it's very hard to find somebody that mature that's willing to do that.
I don't even know if it's maturity as much as it is that person can be honest with himself.
Oh, yeah. I agree too.
They can admit their wrongdoings on their own. And they can own it.
Yeah.
And then there's the follow through.
Yeah.
Hey, I did this. I understand if you don't forgive me. What do we need to do? We have kids involved. What do we need to do for the kids? What do we need to do for us? Like, I know that I fucked up. I'm sorry. Whether that's a real sincere sorry or not doesn't really matter. It's not really.
Sorry you got caught. Sorry that I hurt your
It's
heart.
not
Sorry.
really.
Like,
It doesn't really
there's
matter.
so many different
It
levels of
doesn't really
sorry.
matter at that point. That's just a word
Yeah.
because your reaction to that word doesn't mean shit, or the word doesn't mean shit. Not that your reaction doesn't mean shit, but the word sorry doesn't mean shit in that situation.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Yeah. Yeah. It's true. Oh, all of that is very deep and very true and very much like for us because we've got so much trauma and stuff, you know, boxes of shit in storage
Yeah.
that, you know, we sometimes feel the need to go to the storage unit, roll up the door, unpack a couple boxes, and stand around and stare at it.
It's all right.
Yeah. I mean, but ultimately, eventually,
I know that I can talk to you about it. At least
yes,
I can talk to somebody about it.
yes, yeah. That's not what I'm getting at. I didn't mean that negatively. I meant it like, we have so much to unpack and so much that we have unpacked and gotten rid of, but there's still a storage unit that's got stuff in it.
Oh yeah. That thing will stay full. Unfortunately.
I don't want mine to stay full. I want to
There's
continue.
so much backlog that if as long as we focus on the future and keep focusing on the future, and we're doing a pretty damn good job.
We are.
As long as we have that in place, I'm going to tell you, you're always going to carry the burdens of your past. You will always carry the burdens of your past with you along your journey of life.
Yeah.
They will always continue to be with you. They will never leave you. They will always play a factor in a thought process somewhere along the way.
This is true.
So if you think that you have forgiven someone, but you have truly not, you should probably fucking let them know.
Yeah. Sooner than later.
Should probably fucking let them know.
Yeah.
And if you have let them know, and you're the person listening to this that has been let know, well, there's a TikTok page called Exit Point.
Yep.
Check it out.
Yep. So going past all of that, and the wife is supposed to be there to keep from the big things, as it refers to, as far as the to hold part. It goes on for better or for worse, for richer or poorer, and in sickness and in health. And that talks about First Corinthians.
Okay.
Those who marry will have worldly troubles. Does that mean if you're single, you're not going to have worldly troubles?
You got to think about how far back all of this shit goes.
I know.
And you got to think about the people and the mindsets from that era. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's important to give context on as well.
Yeah. And so it goes on to say, so First Corinthians, what is that?
Because even back then, literally, the women were possession
Yes.
just as much as slaves were the possession.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, just think about like, and I think it was in the
I
here.
mean,
Hang on.
how many people have watched movies?
Right.
I mean, come on. There's this stuff is already documented in movies. and has been for hundreds of years.
Okay, so here's something interesting, right? It wasn't until 1974, 74, when the Equal Credit Opportunity Act was passed, that women in the United States were granted the right to open bank accounts on their own without a spouse or father.
Yeah.
1974.
So prior to 1974, a woman was a slave.
Essentially, women won the right to open bank accounts in the 1960s, but it wasn't what but it was so yeah, we won the right, but I'm sure that in the 1960s, from 1960 until 1974, we still ran into banks and institutions that were
Oh,
like,
hell
"Oh
yeah.
no, we don't do that."
And even past that.
Right. Yeah. But many
That's interesting.
so then it goes into
Now I have some questions for my
women
grandparents.
yeah, exactly. So women won the right to open bank accounts in the 1960s, but many banks still refuse to let women do so without the signature from their husbands. So that's where the federal governing thing probably came in with that equal credit opportunity of 1974 to make it to where those bank branches weren't like, "Nope, sorry." Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there was no sorry involved. But okay, so that
Times have changed.
times absolutely have changed. So to that, like
Even so, yes. Like we have living people still in our lives that live
Yes.
this shit.
Yes.
Every one watching this has someone in their life
Yes.
that lived through this portion
Yes.
of life.
Yes. Yep.
Guarantee it.
Yep.
There is someone in your family that lived through this part of life and that is still living.
Yeah, and it wasn't until 1974 that women could get their own credit card in their own name.
Well, it was probably longer than that because you had to build credit to get a credit card.
Yeah, I think credit was a lot different then than it is now. Uh, hang on, I'm doing some math real quick.
I hate these topics,
Oh,
by the
I
way.
think they're great. I love them.
I know you like them, but I hate them. I hate them because I think humanity was bullshit then.
Women were only allowed to get
And
bank account.
I think it translates to even our current, even today. I still think it translates to today of people in that same mindset. I think not so much in big towns and big cities, but I think it probably in small towns
Oh, I can tell you in small
that
towns, you
this
saw
is
how the judge
still.
was a you
No, I'm
saw
just
it.
saying that's not even a small town. I'm talking about tiny towns, like itty bitty, teeny tiny towns in the middle of nowhere that are nowhere close to a huge freaking.
Metropolitan area.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanna interrupt you for a second. So 11 years before we were born did our mothers it's only 11 years before we were born that our mothers could actually go and be
No, I know.
independent.
I'm aware. You told me the time frame.
Yeah. Shit. That's insane.
That's why I have some questions now that I'm gonna have to ask.
Yeah. But that also means how many of our grandparents and maybe into that, women were fucking trapped, and that's why the divorce rate was so gosh dang low. They were literally trapped. Men had written laws to make it inconvenient to be left.
So, how many westerns have you watched?
I don't know.
Never.
Not really.
Really?
No.
Never.
Probably not. No.
Really?
Yeah. I don't do movies. You know my
I'm talking
attention
about
span's
westerns,
I don't
like
know
old
my
school
attention
west
span is not that long.
westerns.
Uh, mm, mm,
Nothing.
no, I'm good.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, our audience probably has a different perspective of that.
Okay.
So, in every western movie, there's a saloon.
Yes. With the brothel upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the men ride in on horses and they go pick out a lady, Take them upstairs, right? It sheds a little light on the subject, doesn't it?
Yeah. When were Western times? Let's look that up.
When we're Western time.
I'm not the first one to Google this. Although the Wild West is a time period generally defined from 1865 to 1895. The American West as a region from,
It's only 200 years ago.
yeah.
And it's only 2 generations
So the
ago.
Wild West times were considered basically from 1865 to 1916, is what Google's telling me.
It's 1, 2. Actually, it's 3 generations ago.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah. Great grandparents lived in that. I know this because when I was growing up, I had a black and white TV.
Okay.
When my parents were growing up, they had no TV.
They had a radio.
When their parents were growing up, they didn't even have a radio. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
So intelligence. Hang on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to jump off into something real quick.
Go for it.
So intelligence being what it is today,
Mm-hmm.
think how much that's grown in 200 years.
I know, isn't that nuts?
200 years is not really that long.
It's not. I mean, think about your grandmother who's almost 100 years old.
I know. That's why I'm
So
saying what
much
I'm saying.
happens every single day. That's insane. And think about the rate of which we are like slingshotting forward.
Yeah.
I mean, we were finally able to say, "Hey, aliens exist," and we owe the lady on a plane an apology.
Sorry, ma'am. Apologize.
We believe you. Yeah. Yep. It was in 1907 that the Indian Territory and Oklahoma Territory are joined to create the state of Oklahoma, and that was only in 1907.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Wild West.
1912, New Mexico joined the Union, which I'm assuming they're talking about the United States. And then in 1916, on December 5th in 1916, the last stage robbery in the nation took place. 1/4 mile of somewhere in Nevada. Stagecoaches. Could you imagine traveling by stagecoach?
On a robbery?
Well, that's the last recorded robbery. I mean,
that's not the last recorded robbery.
the
And of the
last stage
Wild West.
robbery in the nation took place
Bullshit. There's been more robberies.
of a stagecoach. The last stage robbery
Of a
of a
stagecoach.
stagecoach. That's what I was getting at. Yes.
You said of a stage.
That's what it's talking about.
Oh.
It's got a picture of the stage.
A picture.
It's got a picture of a stagecoach.
Let's show me the picture. I don't see it. It's nice. That's a nice horse.
It's a nice horse's ass. It's a picture of a horse and its ass. Legit, like the horse's butt, not the person standing next to it. I don't know who he is.
The ass or the horse?
Right. That's what I'm getting at. Pretty crazy. 1900, Galveston, Texas is hit by a hurricane and killing. I think they talk about that in history a lot down there in Galveston about how many houses are still standing from that hurricane. They've got historical placards on them. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1901, black gold was discovered in Beaumont.
Pretty crazy. 200 years.
I know.
When was the Titanic?
This turned into a history episode.
1920s, 1940s.
So the tide 1909.
Really?
Yeah.
So they had
Construction of
figured
the
out how to build a damn
Titanic.
ship in 1909?
Yeah, so the construction of the Titanic commenced in 1909.
And the last stage robbery was what?
So
When?
so the Titanic build started in 1909. The Titanic launched in 1911.
Ooh, interesting number.
Why is that?
Look at the number.
Yeah, that is interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Huh. All right. And set sail on its maiden voyage.
Hmm. It's a very interesting number.
Wow. Okay. So according to this, it says the Titanic launched on May 31st, 1911, and set sail on its maiden voyage from somewhere on April 10th, 1912, with 2,240 passengers and crew on board. On April 15th, 1912, after striking an iceberg, the Titanic, well, of course, we know the history of all that.
So didn't the Sunflower, it set sail in what,
The
1876?
sunflower? The
Yeah.
Mayflower?
Mayflower,
Is
whatever.
that what we're talking about?
Mayflower, whatever. It's some kind of flower. 1876, 18 something.
The Mayflower, you were way off. The Mayflower was an English ship that transported a group of English families known today as the Pilgrims from England to the New World in 1620. After
1620. So they had a boat in 1620.
yes,
And it took
after
them an additional 200 years. So we're only talking about 200 years ago
to the
about
Titanic.
the other thing, right?
Yeah,
But 200 years before that, they had built a ship
16.
that could sail
It took 10 weeks.
through the ocean
10 weeks.
to get from there to here.
And it dropped anchor at Cape Cod, Massachusetts, November
But it
1st,
made it all the way here.
1620. Yes, it did. So the
But
Mayflower
the
could
Titanic
ship.
did not make it.
No, it did not.
So intelligence is not all that great
It's
at the
not always a
time.
winning thing. That is crazy.
It's good context.
It is good context. Maiden voyage was 1609, and it was out of service from 1622 to 1624. Most likely taken apart by someone in 1624. So it was taken apart. That's interesting. So I wonder where it went.
They burn it.
Who has pieces of it? That's pretty crazy.
Had to use it as firewood.
Maybe all the Black Death and plague and everything else, I'm sure that was on it after 10 weeks. 10 weeks. Man, that's crazy.
Could you imagine being on the ocean that long?
On a cruise ship, yes. On the Mayflower, fuck no.
On a sailboat. Like on a pirate ship. That's basically what it was, right?
Yeah, honestly.
So on a pirate ship, going through the ocean in 10-foot seas, and the only way that you travel is via air. So there are many days that we don't have the wind blowing, right?
Okay, so here's some other craziness for you. The Pilgrims had originally hoped to reach the Americas. So you got to figure when they reached was they had harsh winters. They still have harsh winters because they were what did I say? Cape Cod, Massachusetts is where they landed.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Cape Cod, Massachusetts. So it's cold. Okay,
Sometimes.
it's a tidbit nippies. Okay,
It's not right now.
not right now.
I don't
but
know any place that's cold right now.
I don't either. But okay, so what I'm getting at is that They had originally hoped to reach America by early October using 2 ships, but the delays and complications, I feel like we should have learned this in history, but I don't remember all of it, and they may not have given us all of these details. But the delays,
I don't feel like
complications,
our kids learned this.
no, meant that they could only use one ship, Mayflower, and they're arriving in November instead of October. They had to survive unprepared through a harsh winter. As a result, only half of the original pilgrims survived the first winter at Plymouth.
Yeah, Plymouth Rock.
Yeah. If not for the help of local indigenous peoples to teach them food gathering and other survival skills, all of the colonists might have perished. The following year, those 53 who survived celebrated the colony's first fall harvest, and this is where Thanksgiving comes from, along with 90 Native American people, declaring in countries later America's first Thanksgiving. Before disembarking the Mayflower, the Pilgrims wrote and signed the Mayflower Compact, an agreement that established a rudimentary government in which each member would contribute to the safety and welfare of a planned settlement. As one of the earliest vessels, this ship has become a crucial icon in the history of the United States. So, Thanksgiving was a celebration of them arriving. That's crazy. A year celebration, a year anniversary. That's crazy. I mean, I knew where Thanksgiving came from, but
Yep.
so I wonder how many more times, like, did the Mayflower go back and get more people again? Like, how many of these little back and forths did they get?
I think they had other flowers.
This is the sunflower. This is the
Wildflower.
this is the wildflower. This is the eucalyptus, and then this is the.
Hang on, what?
I
You
don't.
can lick what?
Eucalyptus. I don't mean to poke fun at history. It's not what I just history and timelines have a lot to do. But so let's talk about.
So the original conversation started with the vows.
Yes. And
And so
women
I
and
just wanted to
property.
give context on really timelines of how much everything has changed and how it continues to change. But
But the
what
lacking
doesn't
but what
continue to change
but what
is
doesn't
the words.
what doesn't
The
continue.
words don't change. The actions don't change with the words.
No. And what doesn't change is what people think women are. What doesn't change is that
That's why I said the actions don't change.
yeah, people continue to think that we are property to be fucked with. We are to be owned. I mean,
Hell,
there's
it hasn't been that long, to be quite honest, that women-owned businesses became a thing,
yeah. Yep.
right?
Yep. It's true.
When honestly, when did this start?
What?
The women-owned businesses.
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. Right now, I'm looking up the 3 major events for women's rights movement. I got you.
I don't know if you've seen the time.
Mm-hmm. I see the time.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know what you're getting at there. Golly.
I got sleep.
This timeline is like, okay, 1963. So it was like what, 1974 that they decided that we could own bank accounts. There we go. Oh. The first marital grape law was enacted in 1976.
Marital what?
Grape. I'm not going to say the real word.
Why wouldn't you say the real word?
Because sometimes they don't the tube doesn't like certain words. And I try to stay away from those.
The word rhymes with grape,
Yeah. They know what I'm talking about.
and it has mine is the G.
Yes. So the first that became a so up until that point, women were like
It was okay for that to happen.
uh-huh.
It was
Because you
not
were
illegal.
married. Because you were married, you're there again.
You were a possession.
Yep.
And you're gonna do what you're told. And you ain't gonna do what you're told. Well, I'm gonna make you.
Yep. Yeah,
What a bunch of slime bags.
right?
I would not have worked well in that era.
No. I would have
Especially
definitely
since people you could just shoot somebody and get away with it.
Yeah.
I'd have just shot everybody.
In 1981, we had the first woman appointed to the Supreme Court. That's pretty cool.
If I was alive back then, I'd have been the reason for warfare on our own fucking grounds. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody that I had seen fucking with a woman, I'd just shot him.
And then in 1992, the Roe versus Wade.
Yeah. Two, three, four.
Yep. It's just absolutely blows my mind. The women still, even to this day, have so much fight to go against. wait.
Fight for air.
Wait. Let's see if I can do it.
You want me to tell everybody what just happened?
Sure. We'll end it on that note.
Okay. So the other night we were doing this, and someone decided that they was gonna crop dust the damn room without announcing it first.
I didn't say nothing.
No, but my nose did. So if y'all pay attention to a couple episodes back and just watch my nose go, you'd know exactly what the hell happened.
His whole nose like flared wide open. And you couldn't get away.
No, he's sitting right next to you. Shit, where was I going? Oh. I know you think that my shit don't stink. Smells like poo, poo, poo.
So you want to?
You want me to finish that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just ripped ass, and so did she the other night. This is payback. But it don't smell like doo doo doo. Hers did though. I don't know how many of you people that are watching live in a household full of women. Ugh. I'd be marking up some toilets. They take bigger shits than men, I think.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
What, dinosaur size?
Shits? Yeah. I don't know where the hell y'all store this stuff at, but y'all are dumping some logs off. Yeah. As a man, you'd used to be proud of something like that. But as a woman, I don't know how proud you should be. Are you proud? You're like, oh yeah, I left that stain.
No, but you be.
That's my damn mark right there. I walk in there, I know who that shit is. Hell, that was not fucking me. I'll tell you that right now. Well, I was in here a minute ago and that shit wasn't there, and now I'm in here again and it's there. That was not fucking me right there.
Oh my gosh. And I don't know why you feel the need to make us feel embarrassed. Like, why do you feel the need to mention it? Because we don't go in there behind you and be like, oh, yeah, I can tell that you.
Because there was
that,
nothing fucking there to tell.
Yeah, okay. I can tell. Oh, that shit swirled, or that one was a log. Like,
no, you can't.
Okay.
My shit smells like roses.
I know. Everyone likes their own brand.
You like your own brand?
I was just quoting Austin Powers.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go snuggle up with my wife.
I'm going to go snuggle up with my man.
So we'll leave y'all to it. Y'all have a good night.
See you later.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tune in to the next episode of FAFO.
FAFO. That's going to be an interesting episode.
Yeah.
All right. Fade me out, baby.